Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Metal video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at how you can beat the Android's SBR or Super Battle Road stage without any items. So this is the final of the third set of original SBR. For those of you who don't know, SBR used to come out 10 stages at a time. We used to have to wait like 6 months for that to happen. Nowadays they bring out a stage every couple of months, or every couple of weeks even, and I personally prefer it a lot more, but it is obviously something that can cause a couple issues. In general though, I would say, for the most part, that we don't have a huge problem here. We're going to be using a Android Cell Saga variant of the team, and I think most players shouldn't have a problem with that. Android Cell Saga is, at least for me, my favorite variant of the Android team, more so because of the variety in units than anything else, but I think Androids in itself is just a very well varied team. It's got a ton of variants, even of the same characters. It has distinctly different variants of them. You know, things like First Form Cell, it's very different from Second Form Cells and how they function, or from, you know, Perfect Cells, also very different to, for example, Android 17s, Android 17 Futures. They all seem to function differently. The future variants seem to be orb changes. You know, there's a lot of different kind of like abilities of these units. There's Super 17s, there's Android 13s, there's Android 21s. So it's just a very fun category because of the variety. For me though, generally speaking, Android Cell Saga is probably my favorite variant, outside of like just the really wacky Androids builds with like Gamma 1, Gamma 2, etc. and things like that. For this team to work, or for this team to be no item run worthy, well, you could probably downgrade this team quite a lot to be no item run worthy, but yeah, for this team, Cell, we have good old Cell, Incel, LR, he's going to be our lead, obviously easy aid, and he's going to be very, very strong. As we all know it, he is a super duper strong character, also gives us a heal, which is strictly incredibly useful. So that's a really good sign from him. We then have the physical LR Cell, obviously a great unit as well, pairs up really nicely with the Int Cell, and if you got a couple dupes in him, he's actually a very strong character as well. Like a very, very, very strong character. So he's, you know, quite strong. He also obviously has that ability to do quite significant damage, heal. He has an AoE ability as well. So, you know, he's also quite impressive. They share a lot of links. They look very good together. We then have Tech, First Form Cell, the newly Easy 8 Prime Battle on the global side, and he's also going to be very useful. His attack down, his healing, and his damage after pulling enemies in attack down, just something that's very useful, and will be very useful, you know, for the most part. And then of course, you know, we have the LR AGL 17 and 18, also an incredibly strong character. Another free-to-play unit, very good support, attack down on their super attacks, very solid. Good levels of damage as well. Obviously excel a bit better against super units, but we'll do more than fine here. And then we have the Tech Android 17 and 18 Future, obviously a great unit. Good levels of defense with a couple orbs, but really nice damage, really good sealing, really good key absorption, well, repelling nullification abilities, and yeah, just in general, very solid unit. Alongside them, we're going to have the Physical LR, a unit I'm really excited to see get an easy A down the line, just because I think it could either be really good or really bad, but I think it's one that's going to be good. A great support unit, it's honestly super duper strong, good debuffing unit, and then obviously if you want to, you have that really good transformation into Android 16, who is still pretty solid by today's standards. Still a very solid unit. That can do some good damage and good abilities, but it's just a little bit limited comparative to what he was. And yeah, that's basically it for the team build. Obviously there's a couple ways to slice and dice this, so you can really just kind of build this team however you want. There's no wrong way or right way, I want to say. And I would say most times the team build is relatively straightforward. I don't think anyone's going to have any distinctively terrible kind of like performances using this team. I don't think there's a way really for this team to fail the SBR. Maybe if you get the physical androids hit by every single super attack at some point, but it's very unlikely since their role is to be a floater, and by the time it usually gets to their turn, most of the other units are absolutely ransacked. So yeah, I would say overall it's a fairly simple team build, very nice, good fluidity, good support, good key floating around. The cells look really good, the Android 17-18 combos look really good, and yeah, I think in general it's just a fun little team. I think for me overall, if I could say one thing, I would say it's pretty close to the team I'd take into ESBR. I would tweak a couple things, but yeah, probably put the physical Android 17 in there, switch him around as the lead, get an incel on there, maybe switch to having 2 MVP 17s, just due to the strength of that unit and the way he can lead the team. But yeah, there's a couple ways to slice and dice it, but not really too concerned. I'd also probably throw in a Gamma 1 friend lead, and yeah, just kind of change things up. But I think overall this team is still very good, and this is probably the most fun. Like I said, nice varied team, really interesting units that perform really well, and just a strong kind of mix up of units. Some older ones, some newer ones, a couple of LRs. It's always fun when making these videos. I like to diversify because it gives the video a little bit more traction, or like a little bit more enjoyment for me to make, because otherwise it's not always so fun just using like the absolute paramount team. But it's still a very good team and it's a lot of fun. That brings it to the end of the SBR. If anyone would like to maybe mention what they'd like next, otherwise I'll return to the Fighting Legend Goku event. But yeah, I think we'll see what comes next. But for now, that's going to be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you next time. Bye.